But the one thing I always remember when I'm dealing with these people is these people haven't dealt with this 100 times. I have. This might be their first time dealing with it.
You're listening to the AV-IT Amplifier. Each week, we'll feature voices and ideas that need to be amplified in the higher education and pro-AV IT communities. This show is brought to you by higheredav.com. And now here's your host, Ryan Gray.
Well, hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in again to the AV-IT Amplifier. As always, my name is Ryan Gray, and I am your host. And if it is Wednesday, you know your feed has been refreshed with new content, and this Wednesday is no exception. Now, that being said, almost every Wednesday for the past 3 months has been an exception because I haven't had time to keep doing this show. There's just been so many things going on, and the audience doesn't need to know all that. But it's a new year, and one of the things that I have realized is I just miss it when I'm not getting the chance to talk to people and interview them about what they are amazing at. So this is a weird one because literally upstairs in this building, we have a brand new podcast studio, but it's not ready yet, so we can't use it. And I do not have time to be doing this. My guest sitting here literally had to stand there and wait while it was, Ryan, just a second. Ryan, I need you for a minute. Ryan, I need you. No. But I was just like, you know what? We got to do this thing because you know what? This is the fuel that works. So with that long intro out of the way, thank you everybody for tuning in again. It is January 2026 and the feed is coming every Wednesday. And with that being said, I get to sit in person with somebody from Yavapai College. I think this makes you the third guest from YC that we've had on. But somebody that worked in my department has now moved on from my department into a pretty special role here at YC. So Thomas, welcome to the show. First, would you introduce yourself? Who are you and what do you do?
I'm Thomas Eastlack. I've found my first IT role here at Yavapai College, which was just amazing from the jump. And right now, I was a technician, I'm a student worker, to full-time, to now I've gotten this great role as lead analyst for HR's IT, which is exciting. It's a whole new world that I'm trying to get used to, but I wanted that next level and I got it. So be careful what you wish for. But
nice. That's a great answer. So for people who would say, wait a second, specialist HR IT, what does that mean? And I know it's still a fairly new role for you. What does it mean? What are you working on? What is the vision for what this job is going to be?
Okay. Yeah. So in my last role, when we worked in the IT department together, my role was far more reactive. Things people call in, they need something fixed, I fix it. And I would get on it and help them out the best I can. But now my role has gone to more of a proactive. I need to look more to the future and look at the way things are currently with their systems and how they do their processes. And I need to identify solutions for things. I'll quote my supervisor, he says he wants to bring us into the 21st century, technology-wise. And so I'm looking at, it is new and I'm kind of building the role because it's brand new position.
Yeah.
So it's, a little nerve-wracking because it's new and it's not exactly what I'm used to. But right now, they did all the communications through emails and stuff like that. And now we adopted this ticketing system that allows for a lot more automation and routing and stuff like that. And it also keeps people accountable, both the users and the people in HR. And we just launched it, and it's been going pretty well so far. I'm also working. They gave me the task of getting the new website updated and ready to go. And we were hoping to launch that, but as websites go, there's another iteration after iteration after iteration, and people chiming in with, they want to change this, change that. It's getting to the point where I think we're going to have to kind of meet in the middle and accept things for what they are. But it's definitely exciting. Another thing is the YC website has a chatbot on it. And I talked to somebody over on the student development tech team, and they gave me admin access to the back door of that thing and actually started showing me how to train that thing. And I know there's going to be some AI things coming in the future. I don't know if that's going to stay or what's going to happen. But it's still fun to be able to learn how to train an AI to help the users and
Yeah.
stuff like that, which is very cool. And then I've got some other bigger projects that I'm looking at coming down the way, trying to get people more into a cloud storage idea as opposed to things that are on-prem, which they're on board for. The scary part of it all is that when I first came into this role, in the IT department, I had a lot of people I can rely on for solutions. I could call to and ask for help or what have you. As I came into this one, my supervisor and my boss's boss, they looked to me and they're like, you're the expert now. So whatever you say, we're going to trust you. I'm like, ooh, that's kind of nerve-wracking, you know what I mean? So a little bit of pressure, but maybe that pressure is good because it'll really make me like focus and make sure I don't want to let anybody down.
Nice. Okay, so a couple of interesting things to unpack in that, right? And so I'm going to try and make sure I hit the 3 points that I thought were really interesting in there. But first, it's not much of a secret that not only were you recruited for this new role in HR, but very possibly this job was written for you, if you know what I mean.
Okay, yeah.
Why were you recruited to take on this role in a new department?
Well, if I try to think honestly, I don't want to try to sound like an egotistical in any way, but I'm just trying to look at the facts here. In my last role, I genuinely had great consideration for the people that would call in. They have trouble, they have problems, and I always put myself in their shoes. And I know that being a student, or even if you're, an employee at Yavapai College and you have some kind of technology need, and you're getting this roadblock, and it's adding to your stress level, I wouldn't want that for myself. So I would do my best to alleviate that from others. And I took great pride in that. And the more I did that, the more rewarding it was.
Yeah.
Because nothing's more rewarding than helping people out, and gratification is payment on its own sometimes. I was very fortunate. I would come to work and be like, I can't believe you're paying me to do something I love to do so much. But I think it was that attitude of, and if I'm going to get it done, I'm going to get it done as soon as possible. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to do everything I can to get that thing going. Talk to whoever I got to talk to. And maybe it was that positive attitude and that go-get-'em kind of, behavior that kind of was appealing, I guess. I mean, when I came in there and I finally expressed to my boss that, I was interested in the role, he said, it's no secret, we want you. And he said, you make a big impact on this place.
Yep.
And that was like, there's a lot. I thought about there must be a lot to be said there, because does he mean the department? Does he mean the college as a whole? Mm-hmm. Very flattering. But I honestly don't think that I have the greatest technology, knowledge and skills and abilities that some of my other colleagues have. They've got way more knowledge in tech than I do. But for some reason they chose me. And the only thing I can really think is that I am willing to get in there and get the job done with a positive attitude and help these people out in a way I can.
Okay, let's unpack, because I love, you have had impact. Impact is a great word. It's sometimes a corporate saying of whatever, but I would agree, right? I think in your role as a full-time service and support technician, you had impact on the institution as a whole. There's no doubt about that, right? And I think you're being modest, but I think you know that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
Because your name would be requested.
Yeah,
we want Thomas to do X, Y, and Z. We need Thomas on this. We need Thomas on that.
That's true.
And yes, you definitely want to jump in and get the job done.
Yeah.
But, I think, and you tell me, because you and I have talked about this, so I'm not asking you a surprise question.
Yeah.
But your concept or thought about service to others, right? A role that is here to support and take care of other people is something, that's been a driving factor for you.
Yeah.
Do you think that your level of service and your reputation for service is part of the impact statement that he made?
Yeah. Oh, I think it's big time.
Yeah.
Probably what it was.
Yeah.
Because just my level of consideration, I guess. Philosophy for service and support. Well, the big thing, like I mentioned before, that it really helps as a driving factor is I always put myself in the other person's shoes and what they're dealing with. And I understand the stress and emotional state that they can be in when they're calling for help. They call us because they need assistance.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to give them, of course. And I think the empathy part is what it is. Mm-hmm. That, just like I said, it's just, it would be making sure to put myself in the other person's shoes and trying to alleviate whatever stress or anxieties they have. Because I would want that, someone do the same on others as they do into you as you would, you know what I mean? So that's pretty much where it comes from. It's pretty simple. And the more I do it, the more rewarding it becomes. Because the more people are grateful, it is just gas in my tank. And it's just it's driving me to do more and more of it.
So what do you mean by that? What is it? What do you mean people are grateful and that puts gas in your tank? What is that connection?
Well, and I've thought about this in a way sometimes, is it selfish to strive for that sense of gratitude that people, because when people are grateful for something, I eat that up and it makes me feel good. Mm-hmm. So I want more of it. Mm-hmm. So and it's kind of almost feels like, am I doing it for them in the end, or am I doing it to make myself feel good?
Right.
But it kind of works for both of us, you know what I mean? So I guess that would probably be the way I would look at it, and it becomes like almost an addiction in its way. It's very rewarding. And it's, I like to take on, like when I was in service support, there's always something new every day. Yeah. And I would be willing to charge right in and just whatever it is, let's figure it out together. I mean, when it first started, of course, there was a little fear that I thought I didn't know. But the more I was in the role, I realized nobody knows everything. Yeah. So I wasn't afraid to go in and help these people with whatever their problems were. And the interactions I would have with the people that called in, there's a lot of people call in, they're a little upset, or their patience is worn thin, or what have you. And the tone of how that conversation can go can totally change how the results are going to be. Mm-hmm. So if I go in there with just the way you phrase things and the tone and how you say things to people can totally calm them down and bring them down to a level of understanding. And I think a big part that was helpful is if I can try to keep the end goal in mind when I'm talking to these people. Keep the end in mind, right? Yep. And being able to get that out of them when I'm talking to them on the phone or in person or whatever. What are you trying to accomplish? And then we kind of work backwards from there. And I think meeting them at that point, like what they're trying to solve, probably maybe gave them a little solace knowing this guy actually cares. Mm-hmm. And if anybody's ever done anything for anybody just out of genuine consideration, I think they would agree that there is it's a great feeling that comes from that. And that's pretty much what's at its core. And that's what was driving me. Yeah.
I think, and in a pretty pure way, I would say, right? It just sort of leaks out of you, that thing, to the point that there was a point where we had to go like, yes, I know you love helping people, but we got to have you help train other people to help people too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At what point, what percentage of all tickets do you think you were closing at your highest peak?
Oh,
more than half?
At my highest peak, 75, 80%.
Yeah.
Modestly, probably. Yeah.
Of all the tickets coming into the help desk. So
I gobble them up. I wanted it. I wanted more of it.
Yeah. So one of the things that is common for people who are in support roles, technology support roles or otherwise, is over time, one of the things that can happen when, you tend to be solving the same problem for people over and over, or you hear the same thing, or you whatever is, there can be over time either a frustration or a jadedness or something that sets in where, the users that you're there to help start to feel like an impediment rather than the end goal of what you're there for.
Sure.
I'm curious, how do you think about that in terms of service, and what advice would you have for people that maybe have been in a service role for a long time, getting kind of jaded to it, but remember the day when it used to really, energize them?
Yeah. And believe you me, I've had the same call 70% of the time. But the one thing I always remember when I'm dealing with these people is these people haven't dealt with this 100 times. I have. This might be their first time dealing with it. And if I keep that, I always keep it in mind that just that right there. And again, having empathy and for these people and understanding where they're coming from is a big part of the whole thing. And that helps me stay grounded and understand, okay, this person has their issue and they've never done it before, and it's be selfish of me to expect that they would know the answers to the things. And with that, I think a big part was the conversations that I would have with people were never like, I never want to talk above them or talk in technology speak, if you will, of something they didn't understand. Being able to communicate with them on a level they understand. And like I said, understanding that, they've never been in this situation before.
Yeah.
And I've taken the same call for years, 70% of the time. And that one thought right there is what helped me, keep my cool and not have to get burnt out on this same call again and again and again and again. And by the time I was done with these calls, the people were so grateful, it was totally worth it.
Yeah.
Taking that extra minute to understand where they're coming from is pivotal, I think.
So how do you carry that now from an IT help desk into a human resources department? So I guess let me tie this back to the question before, which was, for sure, your impact was service related, and our HR leader wants to bring HR, like I said, into the 21st century. But that means more than one thing. That means not only leveraging technology for ease of work and ease of use and that sort of thing, but also adopting a service mindset in HR, turning HR into a service organization, just like we talk about IT being a service organization.
Sure.
So how do you think about trying to either bring that into HR, or what needs to translate about the concept of service from in dealing with people and their technology to dealing with people and their hiring processes and their leaves and their, the legalities or all the other things that HR is working on day in and day out?
Yeah, and to that point, I was speaking because there's half the team is new over there, and we were looking at each other and we were like, why do you think we got hired? Because one of my other colleagues does have a degree in what her role is, but she's never worked in HR before.
Yeah,
I never worked in HR before.
Yeah.
And we started thinking, like, what do you think what's really going on here? And my boss has said that he wants this place to be a place where people feel good to come to.
Yeah.
So I'm theorizing that because my other colleague is a very positive, kind, caring person as well, that has genuine consideration for others, which is fantastic. So I'm thinking that this is intentional in a way, that he wants how HR is viewed to be in a different light. He's not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes, because he actually does care, and he wants people to know that HR is not evil.
Yeah.
It's not something to be scared of. It seems to me that I've been hearing here and there's some people don't want to come to HR because they're afraid they're going to get in trouble or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's not how HR is, I'm learning, and how it should be viewed, especially here at YC. I mean, this place has been nothing but good to me since day one. And there is nobody at this college I don't like. And I think that still, plays true into the HR department as well. So, again, now when I'm dealing with more proactive things, I need to always, when I'm trying to solve a problem for one of my colleagues or a problem HR has, I need to think about how it's going to affect the people on the other end.
Yeah.
And this can get lost, I think. I mean, again, I'm new to this, but I think it can get lost when we're just kind of going through these processes that don't have, maybe some of it's not direct interaction with, a user or customer or employee or what have you. But if I can keep in mind how that experience is when they come in to deal with it, I think would be, probably a good change to how we may approach things in the HR department. I mean, already my old colleagues and stuff will come up. They just come right on in, and they come in my office and hang out and chit chat, and my boss is totally cool with it.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I think again, I keep coming back to this is this empathy thing of understanding where people are coming from, and then trying to meet them where they're at and help them get through it is like a big driving force and something that's going to help make how people experience HR, more of a positive experience.
Yeah.
I mean, there's already a lot of people that are coming to HR. It's strange because now, like, they've been saying that people are coming out of the woodworks because they actually. The theory is that maybe HR is actually caring now, which is very cool.
Yeah.
That may or may not be true, but it kind of seems to be that way, which is cool. And I like that.
When it's an example of somebody trying to build a team based on on attitude and priority rather than, operational knowledge, right? Hire people that have the personality type, have the priority set that I'm looking for. They can learn the HR rules, and the same exists in technology, right? Which is, you hire somebody onto your help desk with a bad attitude. It's awful hard to train somebody out of a bad attitude.
Yeah,
but
true.
someone with a good attitude can learn a lot of technology in a hurry. Which training task would you rather take on? You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I remember when my other jobs, like when I worked in the restaurant business and stuff like that, and I started getting to a level where I was training people, and there'd be people come in that knew a lot but had a bad attitude, or people that knew nothing had a great attitude. And I always chose the people with the great attitude that knew nothing over the other, because they were just, and just like you said, I can teach you. If you're a positive go-getter, man, we can teach you all the things.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
I love it. That's a lesson I think that people learn over time. And sometimes it's hard because you can have a candidate on paper that's like, oh my God, this person could plug in and be ready to go day one. All of the work would be off my plate and onto them.
Yeah.
And I have this other person that work's going to stay on my plate as I get them up to speed on it.
Yeah.
But it's one of the things that we talk about in our thing is don't hire for the best person on day one. Hire for the best person on day 365. You know what I'm saying? You hire because, you know what I'm saying? Hire for who you think will be the best person 1 year down the line, not necessarily on day one. And it can help clarify that. So that's awesome. Back to your beginning point too. One of the other things you mentioned in your move is, so in IT service desk, you were part of a team. You had other full-time people around, team of student worker, part-time people around in your department, and then adjacent IT departments that you're collaborating, working with a ton.
Yeah.
And now you've got sort of this now you're the lone wolf technology person over there, and you're having to both, like you said, if I give the answer, that's what we're going to do, and maybe a little less immediacy on running ideas by people. So again, a double-barrel question. How have you adjusted to that, and how have you continued to be collaborative in your work, both in your new department or with people from your old department as you've moved forward?
Okay. Yeah. It definitely is a little nerve-wracking, but... So I guess indirectly, I've been collaborating without me even really knowing it, because it's all the people that I know that I trust. Whenever I have some kind of technology solution or problem that needs to be addressed, I don't want to feel like I'm making the wrong decision. So I reach out to these people for their advice and everything, and which has been great, because even the CIO and anybody else, yourself, the project manager, ever since I stepped foot in there, they've already been right off the bat saying, like, if you need anything, hit us up. And I've taken advantage of that.
Yep.
And I will call on them for advice or solutions or what have you. And it can be, a little nerve-wracking, but I'm not afraid to reach out to IT department for support, which is great to have that support if I ever have any issues or questions or concerns or anything like that.
You're being looked to as now the technology expert. You're the expert. If you say this is right, that's what we're going to do. Versus, you know what I'm saying? Has that been a pressure that's weighed on you, that you've been like, how have you moved into a place where it's like, no, I don't just contribute to a long-term decision. I may be the stamp of an actual decision that is going to move forward.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. And yeah, that has been heavy. The pressure is heavy because I don't want to let anybody down or disappoint anybody. And it's not like what it was, where it was just break, fix, react, fix it. Now I got to look down the line. And how I've kind of been adjusting, it's still kind of new, is that I'm trying to make sure that I look into all possible solutions and see how far those will go and see if that's really the right solution for whatever the problem is. It seems to be so far that my gut has been pretty much on point. So my intuition and maybe it's just from my past experiences, I'm noticing patterns and things that I think this is probably going to be what we need. But I'm still uncertain if it's going to work. And I've been very grateful that my current supervisor, I can go and talk to him about anything. And he's told me too, he's like, I'm not a micromanager. I trust you're going to be doing the job. You do think you need anything, come to me.
Yeah.
Which is great. And I take advantage of that. And I go in his office and I'd be like, so here's where I think we're at. Here's the pieces I see. Here's I think it's going to work. But my confidence level isn't where I think it should be. And there's been some doubt. And I'm like, am I really the right one for this job? Am I, And I don't know, maybe it's overconfidence is a bad thing. So maybe that's kind of a good thing, that I'm making sure that I'm making right decisions. But he sat me down and he said, hey, look, you're going to make mistakes. It's okay. That's what we're going to learn from them. You need to be okay with making mistakes. And because some of those choices I'm making are pretty big decisions. We're going to be using this thing for the next 3 years or something. And all these people look to me and be like, okay, you say it's going to work, it's going to work. And then I need to be confident in my decision as well. But how can I be fully confident in something that I don't even have full knowledge of?
Yep.
So, but him being able to come to me and say, hey, man, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Even if the college says spend money on something and it turns out to be the wrong decision, he says, well, now we know what not to do.
Yeah.
Easy for him to say, but that did make me feel a little bit better, that it's going to be okay to make mistakes. And I've already known this. I don't know why I don't think about this. We learn by making mistakes. It's how we, learn our greatest lessons. You know what I mean? So I probably should need to remember that more often. But that's kind of been helpful in how I'm kind of adjusting to this thing. So it's kind of a twofold thing, is that one, I've been given grace if I make a mistake, which is fantastic. And then two, I'm just trying to make sure that I look at all possibilities or outcomes or whatever the solution may be. Now, there are some things that I already know a great deal about. And when they come to me and ask, can this do X, Y, and Z, I can rattle, yes, yes, yes.
Right.
And that isn't a stressor for me. Now, I think I need to think that to them, they may see that this is fantastic that he knows this already. I don't think it's something fantastic, like some great knowledge. It's just something I already know. It's the things that I don't know that I feel can put in all my pressure on. You know what I mean? I've had a little sit down with my other colleagues and I've told them, I don't know. What if they find out that I'm not good at this, or 3 months down the road, and you know what, maybe not so much. I don't feel like I'm really contributing. And my other colleagues look at me like I'm crazy. They're like, dude, I don't know why you would think that, you're killing it.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
But there's a healthiness that you're able to have those kinds of conversations in your work group. A half hour goes by very quickly. If you don't know, before we go, you mentioned, before, that everyone at YC has been great. I've been here a while, and, Yavapai College is a community college in rural Arizona. And I get a question a lot, given how long I've been here and some of the other things I do. When are you going to move on to a real place? When are you going to move up to a real university or something like that? And there's a reason that I have chosen to stay here, build a career here. Why? What is it about Yavapai College that's appealing for you?
Okay, so it was kind of weird. When I first saw the big sign at Yavapai College, something was calling me about that, and then some years later, I finally came back. The moment I started here as a student, the college said that we're here to help you succeed. It's written on the walls quite literally in places. And the instructors and everybody else says the same thing. And I fully took advantage of that. And what I got back from Yavapai College, and just not trying to like tease it up or anything, but everything they've been so wonderful and accommodating, and my life has literally changed so much because of my experience here at Yavapai College. Ever since I was a student, and I was fortunate enough to work in a department that blew my mind in how they operated. They may think it's normal operation, but from where I came from, it was such a change, a dramatic change in the most positive way. And the more I put into it, the more I got out of it. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed too that people work here 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years, and there's got to be a reason for that. And I've seen people leave and then they try to go to the grass is greener, and they come right back like, no, not so much. So I can kind of see the writing on the wall when it comes to that. But Yavapai College has been nothing but a good experience for me. They've given me so much, and it seems the more I invest into it, the more same thing kind of with working with people. If I help these people out, their gratitude is payment in its own. And I get a lot of that same sense just by working here at the college, and when people, they're so grateful, it keeps bringing me back, and it gives me a purpose and a reason. And the growth, if on the scale of growth it's going so far, the sky's the limit. So I'm wise enough to see that I've got something good going here. Mm-hmm. And again, like you said, I'm fully invested in this place for so many reasons. It's been nothing but good to me. But this new role, when I was going in and having all these stressors and stuff, Jack said something very important to me. He said, within all this, don't lose yourself in who you are, mm-hmm. because that's a big reason why you're here. And that made me feel pretty good that it's not about, like you mentioned before, and all my technical skills. They hired me for the person that I am. And maybe that's one of the reasons why I like it here so much. I feel like Yavapai College I can talk on some very personal things that I've gone through at Yavapai College, and they have been able to hear me out, see me for who I truly am, and stick with me, and they're on my side, which has been greatly impactful. So that's probably a big reason why this college is a big part of my life.
Well, I'm, for one, I'm grateful that, you are here and been part of what has been my experience here at YC and will continue to be. And it's very cool to think I get to introduce you to other people out there. You know what I'm saying? If people wanted to find you, learn more about you, say connect with you on LinkedIn or other ways, how might they get in contact with you?
Well, I got my LinkedIn profile. I think it's Thomas Eastlack at LinkedIn or mm-hmm. whatever.
We'll link it on the notes.
Okay. Yeah, you can find me there if you want. Not really big in social media. It's not my deal, but you can do that, or you can come to the college and find me here.
Thank you for taking the time to be on the show today.
Happy to do it.
Thank you for listening to the AVIT Amplifier. Tune in next week for more with today's guest. It'll be great, or your money back. Your host has been Ryan Gray. He's on the tweeters at Ryan_A_Gray, or find him on LinkedIn to connect. Please subscribe and give the show a rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. This show is brought to you by higheredav.com. The views expressed here are not necessarily those of our respective institutions, employers, or sponsors. Everyone hang in there, go easy, and we'll be back next week.